Hey everyone, welcome back to In the Alley. My name is Cody. Glad you guys are back for another video. We have recap number 2 on deck for week 3. These are the Sunday games. If you were looking for the Saturday games, which featured San Diego, Arizona, Jacksonville, and Northern Arizona, that's on the Saturday recap. This is the Sunday one, Tulsa and San Antonio, along with Vegas and Tucson. So there's your 2 videos. This is the latter of them with the later games. Feel like there should be common sense, but I also feel like some people miss out. So go watch that one too. I mean, if you're a Tulsa, San Antonio, Vegas, or Tucson fan, great. If you're not, I mean, still stick around, but watch all the videos. Go all the way to the very beginning, like 3 years ago. Anyway, let's dive in. We've got to talk Tulsa, San Antonio. All right, so same thing as the previous video. I'm going to be looking down here. Laptop didn't translate to the big computer, so there you go. But we got to talk a little bit Tulsa, San Antonio. Obviously, we'll talk stats and everything. After that, bet, all of that stuff. So let's go. Oilers will start the game with the ball. They convert a few third downs, but a fourth down stop for San Antonio gives them the ball. Fred Payton gets a start for San Antonio and leads them past midfield for a nice catch from Austin Upshaw, but sails a pass towards the end zone that's picked by Malik Saunier and returned to midfield for Tulsa. TJ Edwards throws a block on a cutback to spring Jamal Bell for a nice gain, but the drive stalls out. Bailey Hale hits a field goal in the first points of the game, 3-0 Oilers as we reach the end of the first quarter. San Antonio driving. All in all, a very, very quick first quarter in this game. Both teams just trying to feel each other out, and we know that Tulsa can run the ball a little bit too. Malik Saunier bats down another deep pass. He looks pretty good early on. Gunslingers get behind the 8 ball and can't convert fourth down. Oilers take over. Both offenses aren't really running or doing the offensive thing really right now. Conroy Cunningham for San Antonio blows up a jet sweep in the backfield. I mean, just out of a cannon, man, just boom, and just smacks him. So if you ever get the chance to watch that sometime in the second quarter. TJ Edwards' pass slips out of his hands. It's deemed intentional grounding. So an incompletion was originally, well, I think fumble originally, and then incompletion, and then intentional grounding. Because if it's an incompletion, it's not. It was across the line of scrimmage, but I don't think there was any wide receiver in the area. All of that, that has to go into it. So Oilers' third down pass goes to the 1, but a fourth and goal is stuffed. Gunslingers take over. Scoring is optional today. 3-0 still with 8 minutes to play in the first half already. Joaquin Collazo comes in at quarterback for San Antonio. He delivers a strike to Dion Cook to midfield. Drive stalls for the Gunslingers. They turn it over on downs. Tulsa finally scores a touchdown on their next drive. Edwards throws left side. Spencer Tears comes down with it. 10-0 Oilers with 2 minutes to play in the first half. Collazo comes back out as quarterback. Looks like he is going to be the guy for now. San Antonio needs points before the half as we hit the 1-minute warning. 3 straight completions for Collazo kind of provides a spark, and San Antonio is inside the 5 first and goal. 9 seconds left in the first half. Collazo does it himself and goes in for the score. 10-7 Oilers as we head to halftime. Or so we thought. San Antonio commits a defensive pass interference, and Tulsa has an untimed down on San Antonio's side of the field. Bailey Hale comes out for a field goal and doinks it in. 13-7. Oilers tack on points as we reach halftime for real this time. Coming out of the second half, it's a horrible start for San Antonio. Ball gets away from Collazo. He corrals it at the 1. Collazo then heaves it to midfield, and it's caught. But short of the first down, fourth down toss out converts it. Drive continues until Fred Millay picks off Collazo and flips the field. So if you catch all that, they're able to get it to midfield. They're short of the first down. They convert the fourth down, and then he's intercepted. I mean, just a really bad turn of events for San Antonio. Oilers knocking on the door on their next drive. They get absolutely smacked for a big loss. Tack on a holding and a false start, and it's a 3rd and goal from midfield. Pass falls incomplete. Fourth down field goal is no good. San Antonio's still in this. I mean, both teams they're not getting it done, man. Collazo's pass slips out of his hand. Kevin Thurman recovers in the end zone. It's a touchdown for Tulsa. 2-point conversion, though. No good. 19-7 Oilers lead. Joaquin Collazo dinks and dunks to his wide receivers and finds Deon McShane for a touchdown inside the 5. 19-14. Oilers only have a 5-point lead now. And then where are my soul sisters at? Because we have a Moulin Rouge. I wrote that down as a horrible. I thought it sounded a lot better. I'm sorry, guys. I'll do better. Anyway, we have a Rouge for San Antonio. It's a good song, by the way. Don't judge me. Tulsa has a kickoff bounce behind them and can't get it out of the end zone. 19-15 is our score as we begin the fourth quarter in San Antonio. One play, one touchdown. Edwards' end zone shot is hauled in by Larry Harrington. There's your Frisco connection. Touchdown at Tulsa, 26-15 Oilers. They increase their lead. Next drive for San Antonio, we have a nice catch for Deon Cook to midfield, and he took a shot to catch it, but the Gunslingers face a 4th and short after that inside the 10. Collazo cannot connect in the end zone. Oilers take over. Edwards bullets a pass to Dylan Wright to convert a 3rd and 5 and keep the chains moving, but unsportsmanlike after that will move them back. Tulsa then puts it on the turf. San Antonio, they recover. They have life. Collazo scrambles, fumbles, Deon McShane recovers. Next play, Collazo fires end zone and has Deon Cook in stride. Was he short of the goal line, though? Doesn't matter. No challenges, no nothing. 26-22. Tulsa's lead is 4 points. Now, Oilers starting to use the clock and hoping to score the final points here. Jermaine Smith has a diving catch to the San Antonio side of the field. Drive stalls out, 3rd down as Edwards passes short to gain. 4th down for Tulsa at the 1-minute warning. Oilers are going to go for it on 4th down, and they lose yards. It's a puzzling call. Gunslingers ball down 4. They need a touchdown, and then an illegal defense challenge. It gives Tulsa new downs. So Tulsa challenges an illegal defense. They get it. It goes from a 4th down. Was it 4th down? Yeah, 4th down. They convert. So, I mean, lucky, I guess. I don't know. San Antonio goal line defense is really good in this game. 4th and goal for Tulsa, so they get them to stop. Bailey Hale comes out for another field goal. He nails that one. 29-22. Tulsa has a touchdown lead with 30 seconds to play. Gunslingers have 2 quick passes to midfield and another pass to KJ Smith, bringing San Antonio to the 10-yard line. Collazo's pass is incomplete in the end zone as the clock expires. They just couldn't get it going. The clock operator might be Kevin Guide after this game. Tulsa wins 29-22. All right, before we take a look at the stats and everything, they're already up over the face, so you can take a look at them if you want, but I want to expand on what I said right before we did this. The clock operator might be Kevin Guide after this game, as in like fired and stuff. If I'm not mistaken, I think the clock was running even after 1st downs, so when the clock should be starting. And I know the refs tried their best to try and get the clocks right and stuff, but we just, it's early in the season, and I get it. Clock operators might be people who've never done this before, but even still, like, that's still not good. And I get what we have on the screen might not be what they have in the arena, but regardless. Anyway, let's take a look at the stats as they've been over here for the last 30 seconds or so. Tulsa takes it 29-22 in an offense optional kind of game, but regardless, they were just kind of the better team. They had some breaks go their way, and their special teams was just a little bit better at the end of it when it comes to the field goals and everything along those lines. So, obviously, you see the score at the very top. I mean, not really much to touch on other than San Antonio just had a lot of trouble getting into the end zone, and for all good San Antonio's defense was, they just didn't make enough stops when it mattered, and Tulsa comes out victorious. So, taking a look at the leaders on the left side, TJ Edwards, 15 of 23 for 155 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. If you hear outside noise, it is storming here in Kansas, so there you go. Jamal Bell, 9 carries for 26 yards, no touchdowns. The rushing game left a little bit to be desired for both sides, but you'll see it on the right side here. It's not often that you see Tulsa outgained in the rushing category, especially with TJ Edwards at the helm, but yeah. Finally, Spencer Tiers, 5 catches, 60 yards, 1 receiving touchdown. And for all intents and purposes, like I said, 15 of 23 for TJ Edwards. He did spread the ball around a little bit. Spencer Tiers and Jermaine Smith were his primary targets. He did have the pass to Trip Harrington for the touchdown. But overall, I mean, he slung it around a little bit. Pretty accurate day for him. Onto the other side for kind of a backup relief and then maybe the starter going forward, Joaquin Collazo, 15 of 22, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns, one interception. Again, he didn't start the game, but he finished it. He put them in a position to, he put the Gunslingers in a position to, hopefully try and take this game, and he got him down to the 10-yard line. Couldn't connect in those final couple of seconds. I want to say it cost him the game, and I'm not saying Fred Payton's slow start cost him the game either, but at the same time, they needed something, and they ended up getting it with Collazo. And I'm not sure what's going to happen when it comes to the quarterback competition with that. If Collazo is now the guy and Payton's now the backup, whatever the case could be, we'll have to see with San Antonio's next game. KJ Smith, 9 carries, 49 yards, no touchdowns. I don't know if there was any rushing touchdowns. Collazo had a rushing touchdown. Other than that, no one had a rushing touchdown in this game, which is insane. But KJ Smith, not bad. I think he's a rookie. 49 yards on your first game, 9 carries. It's pretty good. That's over 5 yards a carry, I think. So not bad. Not a bad first day at the office for him. And then Deion Cook, I think, speaking of rookies as well, 4 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown as part of that too. Really good game for him, if that is the case. So same thing with Tulsa that we'll say with San Antonio, kind of spreading the ball around a little bit. Cook, McShane, Upshaw, KJ Smith, like a couple of guys got quite a few passes, a couple of touchdowns to Cook and McShane as well. So you just have to make sure you figure out which player has the correct spelling of Deion, whether it's Deion Cook or Deion McShane. But regardless, that's where we have it when it comes to the leaders. Taking a look at the team stats on the right side here. First downs, negligible, 14-11. Third downs, fourth downs. These teams just refuse to do anything. Fourth down, they just went, we're going for it. Screw it. It reminds me of when San Antonio came into the league and Tom Manaus said, we're not kicking the ball. And obviously Manaus is no longer the coach, but it still reminds me of San Antonio, just like, we're going to go for it. We're never going to kick. And it shows here. They didn't kick any field goals. They didn't attempt any. 2 for 7 on third down, 2 for 5 on fourth down. They lived and died, and they died for third and fourth down this time. And that's, what can you do, man? So they were trying to get it, and eventually, obviously, they were playing from behind for a little bit of the game. But yeah, Tulsa eventually picked themselves up, 4 for 9 and 2 for 5 on third and fourth downs. San Antonio actually outgained Tulsa. So for all intents and purposes, like, San Antonio's defense was actually pretty good in this game, but for the amount of yards that they were gaining, either turnovers or just they couldn't put it into the end zone, and that allowed Tulsa to take the lead and keep the lead. And like, even though there's some pressure, Tulsa just took over. So you can see the passing stats right there, heavily favoring San Antonio. But we know that Tulsa's more of a running team, or more of a balanced mixed team, until you go down to the rushing stats, and 17 rushing yards on 18 attempts. Now, part of that could be the sacks and fumbles and everything like that included. If you look at the stats, TJ Edwards had -8 yards rushing, so I think that had to do with some lost yardage and some fumbles and whatever the case could be. So I think they're really changing the stats up when it comes to that. So 17 rushing yards is completely different than what you're seeing in a typical Tulsa game. 50 rushing yards for San Antonio. I don't know how many times they're going to outrush an opponent, but take them where you can get them here. 17 rushing attempts, so they were running the ball, 2.9 yards per carry, so almost that magical 3 number. You probably need to get up more than that, but regardless, not a bad day considering San Antonio in years past with their running game and kind of lack thereof. Bailey Hale, kind of the star here in this game, 3 for 4 on the field goals, only missing the 1, but connecting on 3, and that's 9 points. That's enough to get you the victory here. So, and again, extra points and stuff included. Dare I say, player of the game in this one. So, I mean, it pays to have a good kicker, and from all of the kicker issues that they had last season, I'm not saying bad things, just the amount of kickers that Tulsa went through, whether it was like, Jonah Edwards and Ross Moore and couple of other guys too, to start off with Hale going 3 for 4. You might have solved your kicker problems. Penalties for both sides, 7 for 42 and 6 for 53. So quite a few penalties, but again, both teams' first games, working out the kinks, new players, new schemes, new coaches, new anything and everything. So there were bound to be some penalties and things like that along those lines. So I can't fault them for this, but hopefully in the next couple of games, those penalties go down for both sides. Finally, turnovers. 1 turnover with a fumble for Tulsa, and then the 2 interceptions, 1 from Fred Payton, 1 from Joaquin Collazo, total of 2 for both sides. Taking a look at the defensive side really quick. Again, I know I don't have those stats up. It might be something I incorporate later, but 1 sack for Tulsa, 4 tackles for a loss. Again, the 2 interceptions and 8 pass breakups, at least 8 accredited for the entire team, including 3 from Malik Saunier, 1 of his interceptions, but he only had 1 tackle, so pretty good game for him in the other statistical categories. Nusi Milani, 3 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss, so pretty good day for him on the defensive line. And Frederick Millay, 5 total tackles, 1 pick, and 1 pass breakup. Tulsa's defense came to play, and they played. Over to the San Antonio side, Jalen Jimerson, 2 pass breakups and 7 total tackles. Not bad for your defensive back. And then Kendry Gant, 4 tackles and 1 tackle for a loss on that defensive line. Christoph Page, 4 tackles, 1 for a loss, 1 pass breakup. I mean, pretty good day at the office. Total of 7 tackles for a loss for San Antonio. They did have the 1 fumble recovery and a total of 5 pass breakups, all things considered, for the Gunslinger. So again, San Antonio's defense, pretty good. Tulsa's defense, pretty good. I mean, when neither team's converting 3rd down, 4th down, I mean, the defenses are going to look good. But that's where we have it. Let's go take a look at our bet. And we still have a second recap to do. I told you in the preview the wrong team was favored, and God, I just hate being right all the time. All right, recap number 2 takes us back to Arizona as we finish the Arizona trifecta. Vegas taking on Tucson. Oh, buddy, did Vegas reverse course from their very first game of the season. They put a freaking woodshed pounding to Tucson. Now, there were a lot of mistakes that Tucson was making that Vegas was able to capitalize on. We'll touch on that in a second. But just like the last one, looking down at the screen, looking at my laptop for the notes, let's dive in. Decent return for Vegas leads to a 1-play, 1 touchdown pass, Jaden Delora to Deshaun Stoudemire, and Vegas strikes early. 6-0 with a blocked extra point. Vegas tries to catch Tucson off guard with a bloop onside style kick. Sugar Skulls recover. Tucson starts off running the ball and moving the chains. Pressure on Draylon Ellis, and he skips a pass, 3rd down. Ellis pitch and catch to Tamarian Terry, and it's a touchdown. 7-6. 7-6, Tucson takes the lead here. Another good return for Josh Tomas as they start in Tucson territory. We have an over-the-wall catch. Who else? Big Q. Quentin Randolph, Q4, whatever you want to call him. What a man. What a mighty good man. 13-7. Vegas goes back up. And then a Rouge. We've been getting a lot of Rouges. I don't think we had a lot of Rouges last season. We've got like 4 or 5 already so far this season. We're only 3 weeks in. A Rouge gives Vegas another point. 14-7. Vegas recaptures what they missed prior, what they got blocked prior. Vegas defense stands tall, forces a 3-and-out. Kevin Macias comes on for a field goal. Kick is no good. Josh Tomas makes them pay and gets all the way back into Tucson territory with a returned kick. Tomas will then pinball off some defenders, and God, he's so good. Delora rushes to a 1st and goal. Delora will releases a pass to... My goodness, I screwed this up. My bad. Josh Tomas pinballs off defenders because he's really good. There we go. Delora rushes for a 1st and goal, and then he releases a pass to Randolph, and you know what he does, man. You know what he does. He scores again. Vegas extends their lead 21-7 at the end of the 1st quarter. Tamarian Terry brings in a hell of a catch just outside the 5 and sets Tucson up nicely. Keeper up the middle, and Draylon Ellis goes into the end zone. 21-14. Sugar Skulls cut into the lead a little bit, and we have ourselves a game. And then Josh Tomas. He's good. I just said that. Kick return, house call. Why are you kicking it to him? In the words of South Park, dumb, 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 dumb. 28-14. Vegas just ruins any sort of momentum. And then, oh my God, we have an IFL bar ball. You don't see this too often, but sometimes when the ball is kicked off, if it hits off the uprights or the crossbars, it's still a live ball as long as it doesn't go through for a deuce or anything like that. It's still alive. The ball pinballs and ricochets off the uprights. Seneca McKee falls on it in the end zone for the Nighthawks. Chaos all around, and suddenly It's 35-14 Vegas. Vegas stops another Tucson drive. Sugar Skulls might as well just go for it. You're down by 21. Draylon Ellis pressured, and the pass falls incomplete, but a flag will give Tucson new downs. Ellis hits Terry again, and he drags a defender with him inside the 5 for a 1st and goal. 3 tries. Tucson can't score. 4th and goal facing the Skulls. Macias out for another field goal. This time it's good. Vegas still leads, though, 35-17. And then Vegas, just in a few plays, already pressuring for a score. Handoff to Deshaun Stoudemire. He gets injured. 3rd and goal. Jaden DeLora has a wide open Seneca McKee for a touchdown. It's 42-17. So I think Stoudemire came back into the game. I can't remember, but he did get hurt. And then I can't remember if he came back in or not, but that's something to monitor. Another chip shot kickoff for Vegas is offsides. Tucson has great field position. Unfortunately, Tucson's drive isn't the best, but a DPI will give them fresh downs with 9 seconds left in the first half. Ellis's pass into double coverage is intercepted by Ershad Davis, and my God, at this point, Tucson just looks kind of lost right now. We enter the half, same score, 42-17. Second half starts with a rouge for Vegas, 43-17, as Tucson takes over. So again, 2 rouges in this game, both by the same team. I'm amazed at the amount of rouges we've seen so far this season. Sugar Skulls kind of taking their time on this drive. Eventually, they can't get a first down. Macias comes out for another field goal, but he makes it again, 43-20, slowly chipping away at the lead here. Sugar Skulls do get a break, though. Penalty on Vegas is in the end zone. That is a safety. 43-22, Vegas leads. Vegas leads, but Tucson's getting the ball back. Sugar Skulls, they can't convert a 3rd and long on their next drive. Ellis spins down to the 1, then stretches across the goal line. It's a touchdown, Tucson. Suddenly, 43-29. They've put up some points right now. So are we starting to see a little bit of a game? Vegas drive stalls out, but they will go for it on 4th down. Randolph in the end zone, high points it as DeLora finds him. Touchdown Nighthawks. Just an incredible pitch and catch, man. 50-29 Vegas. Tucson takes over as we start the 4th quarter. Brian Smith converts a 3rd down as Tucson needs a score and some stops, all things considered. And there's a nice touchdown reception. It's Brian Smith, who was just converting that 3rd down, and another dent in the lead for Vegas. It's 50-36. It's only a 14-point deficit. A couple of stops here. We got a game. Seneca McKee, though, he says no. Catch and run. Breaks tackles. Cuts back. Scores a touchdown. Vegas just rolling. So, again, they've gotten the stops necessary. Their offense is just rolling. Their special teams is rolling. Their defense is rolling. 57-36. Nighthawks. Ellis underthrows his target. It's intercepted again. Roberts returns to midfield. Avon Rucker is into the game at quarterback for Vegas. He goes inside the 10, 1st and goal. Josh Tomas bullies his way into the end zone. It's another touchdown for Vegas, 64-36. Tucson gains some yards, played for pride at this point, lets the clock bleed to the 1-minute warning. 4th down play, Ellis fires end zone, connects with Brian Smith Jr. It's a touchdown for Tucson, 64-43. Vegas still leads, and they're looking to kind of just end the game after that, which they do. Vegas kneels out the rest of the clock. They take the victory on the road, 64-43. They get back in the win column. Tucson starts 0-1. So, with that, let's go take a look at some stats, take a look at our bet, and we'll got to take a look at the standings. This is the final recap of the week, so we'll take a look at the standings, and then we'll get out of here. All right, so taking a look at the standings, or not the standings, taking a look at the stats. We'll look at the standings in a second. Take a look at the stats for both sides here, and it just got away from Tucson. Just not being able to convert on 3rd and 4th downs, which they did, but they didn't. You look at those stats on the right side there. They did convert, but for all intents and purposes, they just let the game get away from them. Special teams played a key part in Vegas securing this victory, and some costly interceptions as well when it came right down to it. But at the end of the first half, with it being 42-17, you needed kind of a miracle, and they only scored 43 points total. So at the end of the day, Vegas kind of had this locked up after the first half. Taking a look at our game leaders on the left side here. 7 for 10 passing, 96 yards, 5 touchdowns for Jaden DeLora. So think about it this way. He completed 2 passes that were not touchdowns. That's it. Like, that's insane. That is an insane stat to me. And I don't know if it's accurate because, again, these are the IFL stats, which I thought were supposed to be accurate this season, but no. So 7 for 10 passing, 96 yards and 5 touchdowns, no picks. Just incredible. However, not the best day rushing for Vegas into this one. Josh Tomas, 5 carries for 11 yards. He is actually tied as the leading rusher with Von Rucker. He had 1 carry for 11 yards, and I put the more carries in the touchdown guy up instead of Von Rucker. So, sorry, man. But Josh Tomas with that, and obviously he had the kick return touchdown as well, which we'll talk about too in a second. Taking a look at the receiving leaders, Seneca McKee, out of nowhere, but he only had 2 catches, 43 yards, but his 2 catches were both his touchdowns, so making it count when he needs it. Quentin Randolph, not to be outdone though, I know he's not on here, but 3 catches for 3 touchdowns, 37 yards for him. So again, those 5 touchdowns, and Deshaun Stoudemire had a touchdown, so 6 touchdowns. So this is where it's getting crazy, because I think Seneca McKee only had 1 touchdown, but they're giving him 2 here on the stat sheet, which one of those touchdowns was the kickoff, but okay, whatever. Regardless, stats, man, don't you love it? Taking a look at the passing side for Tucson, Draylon Ellis, 17 of 25, 173 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Not bad for your first day at the office, dare I say. Only missed 8 passes. It's pretty good. 173 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, yes, you threw 2 picks, but what, this is your first start in the Indoor Football League? It'll come in time, but that's not bad, all things considered. Yes, you were playing from behind for a lot of the game, but for roughly that first quarter, or like partway through that first quarter, not only did you lead, even if it was by a point, but you were playing pretty well. You were up, what? You were down like, what, 14-7? You were able, whatever the case could be. Regardless, you were able to make it somewhat close and at least a respectable game. The score looks close. It's a 21-point loss, but we know it was a little bit worse than that. He is your leading rusher as well. 9 carries, 22 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Let me just make this clear, too. I'm not pinning this on Draylon Ellis that he lost this game. No. He didn't. It was a whole team effort, but he played really well. Brian Smith is your leading receiver for Tucson. 7 catches, 67 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. Tamarian Terry, 65 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown for him, too. And again, same thing here. Not a lot of rushing yards, but we got to see what's going on with these stats, man. They have Brandon Mackey accredited with 5 rushing attempts, negative 35 rushing yards. And you see it on the right side here. I have it written down as negative 3 rushing yards. I don't think they had negative 3 unless this is some sort of penalty, fumble, something in the end zone kind of thing. I don't know. So we'll talk about that in one sec. Let's take a look at the team stats on the right side. First downs, roughly the same, 9-7. Third downs, not a lot of third and fourth downs for Vegas. They didn't need a lot in this one, but you needed quite a bit. You lived and died by the third and fourth down for Tucson, and they were able to convert for the most part. They converted, 11 of 16 total? That's pretty good. They just couldn't get the points when it mattered, and when it mattered most. So when they were able to get it going, they did hit some field goals. They did score some touchdowns, but a lot of it was just kind of their own ineptitude, man. Total yards actually favors Tucson. You're playing from behind, so you're probably going to score or probably gain more yards because you got to put up yards and points and what have you. But again, total 173 passing yards to 123 for Vegas. You see those right there. 2 picks for Draylon Ellis. Rushing yards, again, we touched on it. 34 rushing yards for Vegas to negative 3. I don't know how they're going to correct that. I truly don't. I believe Vegas, to an extent, they didn't really run the ball too much for the most part. I mean, they were able to throw it around a little bit. But if you're telling me that total Vegas only ran 21 plays, I don't know about that. I mean, it's kind of crazy. 21 plays to 42. Something's not right here. So regardless, these are the stats on the Indoor Football League website, man. They're still busted. Taking a look at the field goals, 2 for 3 for Kevin Macias. Vegas didn't attempt any. I did write down all the penalties. Quite a few penalties in this game, too. 16 total for 104 total penalty yards between the two teams. And, yeah, it's kind of a flag fest. Kind of ruined some momentum. Kind of took your eye away from the game because we're like, man, we got a flag. All right, cool. So it's the first game for Tucson. They're going to work some kinks out, and coming out of a bye week, still a little bit of undiscipline for Vegas, it seems. So that's where you kind of have it. Let's take a look at some special team stuff. We did touch on the field goals. Gabe Rui, 7 of 8 on extra points, 5 for 5 for Kevin Macias, and then we do have the kickoff return touchdown for Josh Tomas. That's pretty much it when it comes to special teams. Taking a look at the defensive side of things, 3.5 tackles for a loss, no sacks though for Vegas. They do get the 1 forced fumble, no fumble recoveries. They do get the 2 interceptions and only 2 pass breakups to speak of. So the defense, they played pretty well. I mean, it's not like those stats are going to show up, but Fred Flavors, 8 total tackles. Kevon Bennett, 7 total tackles. Ershaw Davis, 4 tackles. Trent Tatum, 4 tackles. I mean, they were able to get after it. Ershaw Davis, 4 tackles, 2 for a loss, and 1 interception. Fred Flavors, 8 total tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 pass breakup. So pretty good day at the office for a couple of the Nighthawks over there. Take a look at the defensive side for Tucson. Only 2 tackles for a loss. They get 1 fumble recovery and 1 pass breakup. So just not the best day at the office. I don't know where the fumble recovery came from. It says Journey Sloan has a fumble recovery. I don't remember seeing a fumble for Vegas, so it doesn't show up. At least I don't think I remember reading it. So there's a fumble recovery somewhere. It says your leading tackler is Breon Murray, who... Actually, no, he is a defensive back. I was thinking Brian Smith. Derp. Okay, 3 tackles for Breon Murray. Kendricks Gladney with 2. Deshaun Davis with 2. So, again, not a lot of guys getting tackles in this game, which they didn't really tackle in this game. All things considered, Vegas's offense was pretty good. So, when you throw 7 completions and 5 of them are touchdowns, a lot of them are in the end zone already. But that's where we have it when it comes to that. These stats still need a lot of work, I'll tell you that much. But let's go take a look at our bet. Let's go take a look at the standings really quick. We'll wrap everything up after that. We'll get out of here. Hand up. Should have taken the spread. I hear it. But trust the process. They still won. They won bigly. Minus 192. We still won money. Should have taken the spread. I hear you. But we'll take the money. All right. We need to take a look at the standings here. And what have I been preaching all off season, baby? The East looks loaded. 4 teams. I almost said 3. 4 teams undefeated still in the East. And yes, one of those teams had to take a loss between Green Bay and Fisher. So you're kind of guaranteed. The team to still be undefeated there. But East kind of taking care of business on the West. Jacksonville beating Northern Arizona. Orlando taking care of New Mexico. Tulsa taking care of San Antonio. Yeah, I mean, that you got 4 teams that are winless in the West. They kind of flip-flopped a little bit. A season or 2 ago, we had the West being kind of that gauntlet, and now we're seeing the East kind of pick things up. And again, kind of going off like the NBA. The NBA used to have like the Western Conference back in like the mid to late 2000s just be absolutely a gauntlet when they had like Tim Duncan and Kobe and everything like that. And eventually the East started to take over a little bit, and that's kind of how we have it. But anyway, taking a look at these standings, what's the biggest surprise here? Because to be honest with you, New Mexico being 0-1 and being in a playoff spot right now. Now, I put them there because they don't have a conference loss yet. There's no head-to-head or anything, so I just put it in the terms of, like, points for. So I guess Tucson should be up above San Antonio there, but, well, actually, no, they got a conference loss, so never mind. I don't know who the biggest surprise is. It's kind of status quo how I kind of felt it would be throughout the first couple of weeks through the season. I figured maybe Orlando might lose to New Mexico. There might be an upset there. San Antonio might beat Tulsa. But other than that, this is kind of how I figured it would be. I figured Fishers would beat Green Bay. So maybe Fishers being 2-0 and Green Bay being 1-1. I'm not sure. And maybe even Green Bay being 0-2 if Vegas beats them and everything like that. I figured Vegas would beat them. So maybe Green Bay is the biggest surprise right now. They're not going anywhere after the last couple of seasons, and they're proving it, all things considered. I don't really know. I think everything's kind of status quo right now. 0-2 for Northern Arizona. I believe it. I'm hoping that they can get on their winning ways as well. Same thing with all those other winless teams in the West. They're going to beat up on each other. This is what I said in the offseason as well. Those 4 teams, they're going to beat up on each other. One of those teams has to make the playoffs. So we'll eventually start seeing some wins. You'll see it this upcoming week when New Mexico plays Tucson. So one of those teams is going to get a win. we'll see how it kind of goes, man. But overall, I don't really have many surprises in these standings. And obviously, we're in week 3, about to go into week 4. So it's not like we're going to be like, this team's already clinched a playoff berth. But for all intents and purposes, if this is how the playoffs are, oh, buddy, this will be fun, especially in the East when you've got Tulsa playing Green Bay and Jacksonville and Orlando, which, yeah, as of right now, they haven't played each other yet. But if this is how it goes, this is how it goes. But this is fun. That's all I can say, man. This is fun. Looking at these standings and realizing that we still have 17 more weeks of this and figuring out who's going to be jockeying for position, when, and where. It's kind of crazy to think about. And you see the patterns there, too. Like I said, 2-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. And then on the bottom part, 0-2, 0-1, 0-0, 0-1. It just flip-flops. It reverses itself. It's crazy how those patterns work. But the mammalian part of my brain goes, yeah. The smooth part of my brain goes, yeah, I love that pattern. That nice pattern recognition. Anyway, that's where you have it with the standings. Not really too much to talk about. If you guys have any surprises, leave them in the comments or anything like that. But with that, we need to wrap up. We need to get out of here. And that is it for our recap of the Sunday games for week 3 in the Indoor Football League. One game was close, one wasn't. So week 3 kind of delivered when you take Saturday into consideration. One close game, the other 3, like I said, you're not going to have every week be everything down to the final minute and stuff like that. So I'm not even going to call them clunker weeks or anything, because they're still entertaining. There's still some fun games and opportunities for 3 of those 4 games where you're like, is this team going to get back into it? Is the other team going to shut the door? What are we doing when it comes to that? And for all intents and purposes, another fun week of the Indoor Football League action. Week 4 right around the corner. By the time this is published and everything, we are getting geared up for 4 games into week 4, as there's just more bye weeks to go through. And then I think after this week, after this Easter weekend and all like that, I think there's 3 straight weeks of 7 games. So every game is a packed slate, and you start clicking off weeks. We start clicking off wins and losses, and you really start figuring out who the haves and have-nots are. Go from there. But that's for week 4. This is the end of week 3. So we'll catch you guys in those previews for week 4. I think it's the same thing, like two Saturday, 2 Sundays, as we've done the last couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that, obviously, as the previews roll out. But till then, I'm going to take off here, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. If you feel so inclined and you want to, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you don't, no pressure. Don't care. I will catch you guys in the next video. And I do want to shout this out too. I know it's not Indoor Football League, but I went to Dodge City over the weekend. Which way does my finger go? I can never do it like, okay, there, that one right there. There. I went to Dodge City over the weekend. I went and saw the Southwest Kansas Storm play the Omaha Beef. Saw a little NAL action. Like I said, this is an Indoor Football League centric channel, but any chance I get to go locally, and I say locally as in like the state of Kansas, whether it's out to the NAL teams or if I get to travel like to IFL teams and stuff like that, I'm going to try and make the most of it as much as I can, and that's what I try to do. So I've got a video coming out soon for that, kind of detailing how the game went, how the trip and everything went, and kind of give my thoughts and opinions on the NAL and give my thoughts and opinions on Dodge City and the game and the arena and everything along those lines. So if you guys want content like that, great. Otherwise, I'm going to take off here, guys. I love and appreciate you. Catch you guys in those previews and that Dodge City preview, or I guess recap, I guess. So until then, catch you guys then. See ya.